And I love, like, you know, with like David Ayers, like everybody like gathering around, and like that was the most exciting moment in the entire league. And it was just because this was some dude that just was in it for the game. And like it was getting to see dreams come true. And I feel like that's something that has always been really like wonderful. So I am 24. I'm a student right now. I am from the Bay Area. I was born and raised here. I think like the things that I'm most known about, or the things that are most known about me, are that I really care about helping other people, and that I am a diehard Sharks fan.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's fantastic. I'm born into it. So the year that it happens, it's going to be the best year ever. But I mean, I asked for a Patrick Marleau jersey for my birthday this year. So, you know, it's the kind of thing where it doesn't go away. And we're so entrenched in the community too. Like I was one of Patrick Marleau's sons, camp counselor. And like I took voice lessons in their backyard, because that's where my voice teacher used to rent out like her little cottage from. And like, you know, I remember seeing Joe Thornton in the grocery store and like going to get like junk food or something and bending down and then looking up and being like, oh no, like I've been caught in my like moment of shame by like one of my like athletic gods. And yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's all within the area. You're like known as like the Sharks are like they're like the hometown pride. And like you see all the people and they participate in like events throughout the communities, and it's really cool. It like you really get to feel that they're a part of the community and that they like really participate and care. It's a really awesome thing.
That's really cool. How did you get into hockey?
So I was kind of born into it. And by that, I mean,
you were born on the ice?
Close. I remember my parents have been going to games since it first started. They had season tickets back in the 90s before it was as expensive as it is now. I know my mom went to a game while she was pregnant with me. And like the same situations with other family members. I have a younger cousin that plays hockey like pretty competitively.
Cool.
And who we're very proud of. And my brother was on the roller hockey team, and I have slowly been trying to teach myself how to skate for the last like 5 years. My dream is to be able to play with the Boilermakers, who are it's a group of gay and lesbian men and women who participate on a hockey team all in San Francisco.
Yeah, do it.
And it's awesome. I feel like I've been trying to teach myself how to skate for the last couple of years. Definitely got held back by the pandemic with all the rinks closing, but it's been awesome. I love it.
What do you love about hockey?
For me, I think I love the community for the most part. I think that it means a lot to see people come together and really care. Like when you look at the way that a lot of hockey players go about things, that's a lot of roughhousing and it's a lot of joking and whatever, but there's still a level of respect and an understanding. And there's a big piece that's about the community that has always been important. I mean, like we talk about PK Subban being an incredible player, but like he's also most well known for his work outside. And I feel like that's not a surprising thing to see in the hockey community. And I love, like, you know, with like David Ayers, like everybody like gathering around, and like that was the most exciting moment in the entire league. And it was just because this was some dude that just was in it for the game. And like it was getting to see dreams come true. And I feel like that's something that has always been really like wonderful. It's getting that like thrill of like and excitement and joy, and like that there's something that you're like, oh, we're all connected, we all care about this, and we know what's going on.
That's so great and so true. How could hockey be better for you? And also, how do you think it could be better for the queer community as a whole?
I think that there are definitely moves that are being made that I appreciate. I mean, I'm from the Bay Area, so I'm lucky in that we don't have the same level of homophobia that we're fighting against. It's mostly like subtle,
Yeah.
um, and in the form of microaggressions or whatever. But I think when it comes to uh, the overall, it's pretty significant. And the way that I know at this point not to look at comment sections for any post that has a rainbow flag, because it's just like maddening that anybody can hate me or hate like anybody without ever meeting them or knowing anything about them, but just based on one topic that doesn't really define your personality or who you are. It surely bonds us because of the difficulties that a lot of us have to face, but it doesn't like define our personhood. And so it's frustrating to know that it's uncomfortable to put yourself out on the ice, or you could be physically endangered or targeted in play, or that you could be shunned from being on a team because of who you love, or even who you choose to associate with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and honestly, like we still have a lot of issues too with race. And I think when we talk about how the league they post rainbow flags, and that's important to see, and it does send a message, but I'd love to see more incorporation actually within the league of trying to cut down on or trying to include programs that target queer individuals, or try and open it up to allow more varieties. I mean, like, I didn't know that I could play hockey for a long time from like the women's standpoint, because there were no teams even in my area that I like had really been introduced to. And I think about the fact that like it's really scary to be like alienated and go out during Gretzky hour or whatever and be like, I don't want to be the only girl that sucks, or I don't want to be the only like gay person that sucks, because that like puts an image out. And so I feel like it's frustrating. It feels limiting.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And you know, the fact that it's not really a sport that you play by yourself either. So it's like,
Yeah.
you need other people, and you need to, you know, there's times where you may have to disclose who you are, and it kind of forces that. With
Yeah.
all that said, that you just said, what keeps you in hockey?
I think one, it's like a family experience at this point in time. It's like getting to talk to my brother about hockey has always been something that bonded us. And I feel like one of my favorite things is like I have a friend who the first time we met in college, I was wearing like my Sharks hat, and so he like immediately saw it and wanted to like talk trash with me. He was like a Phillies fan, so like, you know, like we like Flyers or not, like, let's be real here, at that point in time we were doing way better. It was like 2014. We had just like gotten farther than we'd ever been before. I was like, Ian, this isn't happening.
And now you and Ian come on over the fact that you both suck.
Yeah, exactly. It's really what that's the nice part, is we've always been bonded together.
Yeah.
I'm not, but it's funny because like there was a point where like on game days, specifically during the playoffs, on my campus in Oregon, which didn't have a team, like teams didn't exist in the Pacific Northwest at that point. It was either the Sharks or you were going all the way to Canada. To get representation. And so I remember people who would come to school at this like big state school would all be wearing their jerseys. So like all of us would wear jerseys. And there was a kid at one point in time where I remember like the two of us saw each other one day in class, and he was like, Sharks jersey? And I was like, Blackhawks jersey? And he was like, yeah, no. And we like sat next to each other in class because of it. It was super funny, but it's that cool experience where there are very few things that I get to talk about that I can like so enthusiastically like trace back throughout the years, and have some recognition about, and have other people have that same thing. It's like a beautiful like commonality that you can break off from.
And builds community.
Yeah, exactly.
What gives you hope for queer people in the sport?
Honestly, young queer people. That's like, I know that's the cheesiest thing to say, but it's, I see these videos or I see these stories online of kids that are doing it. And one, it inspires me to keep going. And I'm like, oh, if this kid can do it, which the kid's 1,000 years better than I am. But like, if they're so determined and like willing to go for it, like, why should I be holding myself back? And I think it has meant a lot to see people speaking out and talking about the importance of like seeing our community. I mean, like, obviously Curtis Gabriel has done a great job in doing that. And it's something that I started following him a little bit before he even was in the like Sharks like prospects roster. So then seeing him end up on my team meant a lot, because it was like, this is someone that like is really like, it's something that makes me so happy as allies, and like seeing people that care enough to say that sucks, like you shouldn't be treated that way, and that are willing to put themselves in the line. Because the number of awkward conversations and frustrating conversations I have are like, it's not surprising. It happens all the time. It's like it is just a part of life for me. But it's nice to see other people taking that load off from some of us, to be able to have those conversations with people that they care about and say, hey, like, I know the pronouns thing at first feels silly, but like, let me explain to you why it's important to people and why it matters. Or like, what, and you being able to take on those things that could be potentially damaging to us in the queer community, who already have to deal with that in our own without a choice. It means a lot for you to take those choices and have those conversations with the people that you care and love, and the people that you don't, because we're at a certain point, if you listen hard enough, and like, someone's going to get through. And if you use the right analogy or you use the right thing, it's going to work at some point. And it's going to take a while, but at least someone is making the effort. And, you know, even if you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. And so if you're constantly trying, and like, if you're constantly putting that effort forth, then I think that matters. And it matters to see that people care enough to put themselves in an uncomfortable position, and then to put themselves to be willing to open themselves up and know that it's going to ease off the pain for a lot of other people, and it's going to create a future that's positive and helpful.
100%. Katie, is there anything else you'd like to
add? Patrick Marleau is an icon, and when we're past that couple of years points when he does retire, I need him to be in the Hall of Fame so bad.
Yeah, I think he will be. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame just for showering between each period. I think that stat alone
it's such a respectable move.
and mind-boggling. I don't know how he does it. You know, but that alone should be put him in the Hall of Fame. Go in the cold tub and then take a shower is just wild.
The dude's been doing COVID protocols since before they were ever a thing. No, I think the takeaway that I really have is that being opening to listening, even when it's uncomfortable or it feels weird or silly, like someone's gonna make a joke, you may make a joke and someone may say, hey, that hurts. Take a second and recognize, because I know there's gonna be a moment that people have where you go, oh, but it's just a joke, or like you feel like taken aback, but like take a second and recognize that like there's a reason that someone's saying that, and that there is real feeling, and it's so worth it to listen. No one's trying to attack you. They just want to have a conversation, and conversations need to be had.
So well said. Katie, thank you so much. I hope you keep working on the skating. If I have to, I'm going to fly up to California and give you lessons myself.
I would greatly apprient it. I did give myself a black eye and a concussion once.
We don't need that to happen any further. But thank you. Get on that queer hockey team in San Francisco. and we appreciate you. So
thank you so much. I appreciate all the work that y'all are doing. It means a lot.